Good morning. For Traders Exclusive, this is George Kachuk with RCM Wealth Advisors, reporting to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. What I'd like to do is talk about the equity markets. Now you have a few interesting things going on. As equity markets are near highs, as the S&P was retesting its January highs, came off a little bit. Markets got scared on news of coming out of Turkey, Turkish lira dropping, the Turkish stock market dropping, etc. However, you need to focus on what's going on to the earnings reactions. And what I'm referring to is a lot of individual stocks are acting very, very well. And if you just look at the indexes, you might get scared out of the market as they pull back, just digesting their gains. But you need to stay with leading stocks that are showing very positive earnings reactions. And what I mean by this is a lot of stocks are gapping up on earnings, coming off like shooting up like missiles, where we're seeing the volume increase anywhere from 200, 800 to over 1,000%. And these are the kind of stocks you want to pay attention to. Now, these aren't buy recommendations. You should always consult your financial advisor. However, I'm going to go through a list of stocks here, some of which we own or we're looking at to get into. So, for instance, let's start with AMD, Applied Micro Devices. Basically, gapped up on earnings reaction, closed about $18.35, and it's been able to hold that level ever since, meaning it went up to about $20, pulled back a little, maybe a little resistance at $20. However, it's holding that high volume close on earnings reactions, and that's very positive. And we're seeing this across the board in a lot of internet stocks. If we look at the stock Twilio, that symbol is TWLO, also big gap up on earnings. I forget it was about 800% increase in volume, and it's pretty much held that level. Backed off one day, just slightly below it, but again regained that level and moved higher. We saw that in Roku, symbol ROKU. Big gap up on volume on the earnings day and holding a high volume close, or it may slip about 1% or 2%, but as long as those levels are holding, that tells you that the market has mispriced all these stocks and it's willing to go after them. We saw that in 3D Systems, symbol DDD, over 1,000%, about 11%, 1,100 or 1,400% increase in volume, big gap up, 30% price move, and still holding that level, trading up higher. We saw that in Yelp, symbol YELP, same thing, big gap up move, holding those levels. In Etsy was interesting, had a big move on earnings reaction, however came down, closed on the low, undercut that level, but within 2 days recaptured that high volume close and continued to move higher. We saw that in Match.com, symbol MTCH, another one that's holding a high volume close after the earnings reaction. And this morning we're watching the trade desk, that symbol's TTD, had about 1,000% increase in volume on the earnings day last Friday. Earnings came out Thursday, big reaction to the market, huge move, about a 30% move, and we're looking to see if it can hold that whole high volume close within 1% or 2%, and that tells you that those stocks are the ones that the market is moving after. There's a huge demand for those stocks. They're showing high relative strength. People are chasing it. So those are just the type of stocks you want to consider in this market, and I'm going to call this hot reactions to earnings, and that's what we're seeing right now. But as always, let price and volume be your guide. These stocks are all volatile, have your stops in place, but these are the type of stocks you want to keep a lookout. And as earnings continue this week, you might find some other new stocks in that space. So as always, let price and volume be your guide. This is George Kachuk with RCM Wealth Advisors reporting to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. And have a great trading week.